I want to show you my custom build for a Victron power cabinet. And just open it up here and kind of show you what's going on. I have an issue with it, which I believe is a firmware issue, but I figure before I get into that, I should show you a little bit about what kind of setup I've got going on. So starting at the top here, I've got a couple different switches for routing power where I want it. This kind of routes the inbound cord, and that routes power as to where these are being fed. And just looking at the touch, we've got the Multiplus, and then if we go into the settings, I want to show you the firmware version that it's currently on. So 490 is the latest one I could get. I was having trouble with battery temperature disconnects, so. Okay, so currently the battery voltage is at 13.27. The system is off right now, and as you'd expect, these are off. So little tour of what's going on. It's pretty simple. That one is leg 1, that one's leg 2. They're set up in split phase operation, 180 degrees. This auto transformer here is being used to step up voltage from a generator. I can actually switch whether it's getting power from utility or generator here. And when it goes to generator, I've only got a 120 volt generator, so it'll kick it up to 240. And I can feed these two guys and have them outputting a charge across both across the battery array. The auto transformer on the left here is simply load balancing these two inverters. Moving on to the battery system, I have 4 batteries, all of which have BMS systems, but they don't have low temperature cutoffs. So if we look down here, I've got a temperature probe that's connected to inverter 1. That's the one on the left. It's also got an Anderson quick connect on the back. If I need to quickly remove that connection, I can. And below I have the temperature probe for the inverter number 2 on the right. And it also has an Anderson quick disconnect. So now that you've seen the setup, everything works really well, quite happy with it, except for the low temperature cutoff is really important given where I live. And the batteries will do everything but low temperature cutoff. So I really am reliant on the inverters not charging when the inverter recognizes that the temperature is too cold. So right now it's at 11 degrees Celsius, which is fine for charging. And if I switch the chargers on, so do that. So it says the charger's on, battery voltage is 13.27. They haven't kicked on just yet. Now they're on, and both are in a bulk charge. And if you look at my voltage, it's charging. That's all well and good. So now let me show you what happens in the configuration of the Victron app, just to show you how I've set it up. Let me know if there's any problems. So let me just start that up real quick. Okay, we're now in the Victron Connect app, and system's on. It's going through charging. Just go ahead and take a look at the settings here. So if we look at the first unit for the charger settings, it is enabled, and I've got the absorption and all these settings set to where I like. And I've got the low temperature cutoff at 38.30 Fahrenheit. Actually, I put in 38, it just kicks it up to 38.30. And the second unit is also configured with the same low temperature cutoff, and it's enabled as well. And with the system on, it's currently putting an absorption charge on the batteries, and the temperature reading, well, up there it's disconnected now, but 52 Fahrenheit, so it's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to put the temperature probes in some cold water or some ice and show you kind of what's happening. Okay, so now we have a baseline. I just turned the system on. We're at 13.57 volts, just went into bulk mode, and you can see voltage going to the batteries. And I have done nothing with the battery temperature, still at 11 Celsius. And everything is charging and looking good. So next step is I have a glass of ice here and a couple temperature probes. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the system off, stick the probes in, and try to charge with the system being below temperature or below the threshold that I've set. Get back to where I was. Switch this off. Okay, so go ahead and put sensor 1 in, and we'll do sensor 2 for good measure. And again, sensor 1 is connected to this unit, sensor 2 on this unit. And we'll give this a little time to drop in temperature. About 3 Celsius is where the cutoff currently is. So we'll let it get down to 2 before we try to turn on the system. All right, so it's at 2 Celsius, probably will drop a bit more, and we'll go ahead and turn on the system. Now, the way it's configured, it should not charge the batteries. And this would be the state that it would be left in with the charger on. And check its state. Switches to pass-through. Inverter on the left says mains are on and it's not charging, which is great. That's what I'd expect to see. Inverter on the right is doing an absorption charge, and it's putting voltage on the batteries. So my question is, how do I get the second inverter to pay attention to its temperature sensor? Now, both are in the ice water at the moment, but if these batteries were actually freezing, they're taking a pretty big charging voltage, and I want both of the units to mirror each other, which they should be doing in my opinion, because they're set to be working together. And just give you a close-up on this. See if we can get a better angle, but the absorption light is on, nothing else. And on this one, mains are on, but it's not charging at all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off now. And I'm going to do an experiment with just the secondary temperature sensor. All right, we're getting close to the cutoff, which is right about here. We'll fire it up at 2. Switching the inverter back to charger. And this one is back to bulk charging. As you can see there, this one's off, and you can clearly see it's ignoring the temperature rule. So if you also see voltage too coming on those batteries. So yeah, if it wasn't warmer in my garage, these batteries would be getting a charge when they absolutely shouldn't. So rather than show you all this, I have tried disconnecting the secondary sensor and just using one, same results. Basically, it's just ignoring the second leg, or the second multi-phase unit, which this one is configured as the slave and that one's the master. So the slave unit isn't paying any attention to the temperature cutoff, and I really need a fix for this. So please let me know if you guys have any advice. If I'm missing anything, let me know. But at this point, the operation is not acceptable.